All right, guys, so for today, section 6.3, we're looking at commissions, royalties, and piecework pay. So in addition or instead of our hourly pay, which we've been working on, you can get paid different ways, okay? So we're going to look at computing pay based on your commission, if you have piecework pay, and then kind of some advantages and disadvantages, kind of looking at both options. All right, so the first thing is there's called pay based on production, so not on hours worked. So stockbrokers, travel agents, authors, musicians, realtors, salespeople, they may be paid this way. So based on how much sales. Think about like an author, how many books they sell, they make a profit off of every book that is sold. Musicians, a lot of times, based on how many albums they sell, or I don't really buy albums anymore, right? So how many songs are downloaded. Yeah. Yes, they can. So when every time their song is played on the radio, it also gets money for that. All right, so commission or royalty, it is usually a percentage paid based on sales made. Okay, so if you're making money off of how many sales of something, like the books, CDs, whatever, that's called a commission or a royalty. The more sales you make, the more money you make. And a salary may be earned on top of commission. Usually a percentage paid based on sales made. The more sales you make, the more money you make. A salary may be earned on top of commission. So for example, I always think of ABC Warehouse. You guys ever shop at ABC Warehouse? Okay, they sell, all different kinds of electronics. They sell, refrigerators, TVs, all that kind of stuff. But like ABC Warehouse, they make a salary, so they might make an hourly rate or something like that, but then they also make commission, so they make a percentage of the sales. So if you go to ABC Warehouse, you can kind of haggle with them on prices, because the more they sell it for, the more profit that's made, the more money they make. But, if you're going to walk away, they're going to rather drop the price to make something versus nothing from you. Whereas if you go to Best Buy, they won't haggle prices. They don't make commission at Best Buy. Okay? Best Buy employees are just paid an hourly rate. Doesn't matter if they're the best salesman in the world, they don't make any more. Okay, so there's a difference there. All right, next is piecework rate. Anybody know what that might be? What's piecework? I'm not saying you're wrong, but Hunter? Yes, absolutely. All right. Again, you don't have to write this word for word. If you want to paraphrase, whatever makes sense to you, they're your notes. A rate paid to someone for each item they complete. So exactly what Hunter said. So if like you're in a factory, let's say like my husband used to work at Sodders. You guys know Sodders Furniture Company. He used to work there when he was in college. And he used to work in sample setup. So he would actually build the samples of the items, to go to the store. So that way you could see something set up and built, what it looked like. So that would be an example of it. He did not. He got paid just an hourly rate there. But something like that, where every time you make something or build something, you guys know the movie Elf? I was thinking of him when they're asking how many Etch-a-Sketches he had built, and his number was like way lower than it should have been. So same idea. Every time you're building something, they're getting paid for each one of them. So they could also earn an hourly wage in addition to it. Not as common today as it was in the past, but some jobs in farming, manufacturing, and journalism are still paid this way. I just watched Spider-Man. It was on the other day on TV. He takes pictures of Spider-Man, and he gets paid per picture that they take from him that they're going to actually run in the paper. So it's another idea of piecework pay. You guys think of any other things that might be piecework pay? Have any of you ever been paid that way? Yeah. Okay. Right. No, that would be, yeah, similar to that. Because you get paid, like, if you can make, like, 4 house calls on a day or whatever, then you get paid more, right? Because you go to see more houses. Yeah. So that's an idea of piecework pay. Yeah. For every key that he makes. Oh, cool. I would think you can make a key pretty fast. So say, wow, that's pretty cool. All right. Anyone still writing? Yeah. Okay. No, it's fine. I just don't want to move too fast for you. So if you're somebody who's very efficient, would piecework pay maybe be a pretty good thing? Yeah, but if you're that guy who's like moving super slow, doing your own thing, piecework pay may not be the best choice for you. There's some of you in here now I think would be in big trouble if it was piecework pay. You guys wouldn't make very much. All right, so here we go. Example 1. Adriana wrote a textbook for high school students. She receives a 10% royalty based on the total sales of the books. The book sells for $47.95 and 17,000 copies were sold last year. How much did Adriana receive in royalty payments for last year? So again, this is kind of an example of piecework or commissions, right? So she's making money every time her book sells. She wrote the book once, it's being produced. Every time it sells, she's going to get money for it. So what's kind of our idea here? What do we need to do first? Good. $47.95 times 17,000. So what is that going to tell us? Good, her gross, right? It's how much is being grossed and by the sale of the books. So that would be $815,150. So that's total sales. But does she get all the money from the sales? It'd be nice if she did, right? But I'm assuming there's other companies promoting her book and selling it and taking care of the manufacturing, all that. So how do we figure out how much she gets? Close. Multiply it by 10%. Yeah, we always multiply by those percentages. So the 815,150, we're going to multiply 10% would be 0.10, right? We're always to change percentages, we always divide by 100. So she's going to make $81,515. And not bad, right? 10%. I mean, don't look at the total sales. She's sitting and collecting. That's not bad for sit and collect. I'd be all right with that. Now, if she's got a really good book and she sells sales like that every year, it's not a bad salary for doing nothing anymore, right? Hopefully she's working on another book, so the more she would get out there, the more money she would be making. Right? All right, example 2. Allison sells cosmetics part-time from door to door. She is paid a monthly commission. She receives 11% of her first $900 in sales and 17% of the balance, so anything over $900. Last month, she sold $1,250 worth of cosmetics. How much commission did she earn? I went ahead and added this to your notes. You guys want to jot that down? Percentage times the first sales plus percentage of the total sales minus the first sales equals the commission. Now, some of you might be able to kind of, on this problem, figure out how to do this, but there's going to come some up here in a little bit where a little algebra is involved, and it's easier if I start teaching you now kind of how to set this up. So I'd write down that formula, circle it, star it, highlight it, whatever you got, so it stands out so you don't forget that. So the percentage times the first sales plus the percentage of the total sales minus the first sales equals your commission. Because what we got going on is she's earning 11% of the first 900. Then anything over that, she earns 17%. So we kind of got like two parts going on here. So we got to figure out what's going on and then add those numbers together. All right, so what's the first percentage that she's earning? 11%. So 11% would be 0.11. Multiply by, I wrote it as first sales. She earns 11% of her first 900. So the first sales in this example is 900. Plus, what's the next percentage? 17%. So 0.17. And then her total sales minus the first sales. How much did she sell altogether? $12.50 minus, what did you say the first sales was? 900. Then that should equal whatever the commission is, which is what I'm trying to find. So in your calculators, I would just type all of that straight in, just the way it looks, and see how much commission she actually made. How much money did she make, guys? Good, $158.50. Now stop and think, how often is she earning this commission? Monthly. 158 bucks, huh, for the whole month? She better have another job, or she better be making like an hourly rate on top of that, right? Because if she's doing this job on the side just for the commission, I think of like Mary Kay or Unique. You guys know those companies? Like that's kind of how they sell too. They sell all based on commission. I don't know what their percentages are. I should ask. I have friends who sell both. I should ask what their percentages are. Because if they're anything like that, I ain't worth it. Think about the effort you would have to go through to sell that to only make 158 bucks. Scentsy. Do you know what percentages she makes? Should ask and find out. I'd be curious. Yeah, go ahead and go text her and ask. Let her know it's a discussion in math class as we're talking about all this. I'd be curious how that works with them, because I know like Scentsy, again, they don't make a hourly rate. That's all on their own. Like LuLaRoe, you guys know what LuLaRoe is? Probably girls. Anybody know what LuLaRoe is? It's a clothing line. They're famous for their leggings. Again, they don't get an hourly rate. Yeah, most people, at least who I know, who sell like the makeup and all that other stuff, it's like a side job. They do it for like extra spending money. But if that's all the extra spending money I'm making, it ain't worth it. That is not worth it for me. All right. Because do we see what we're doing as far as like this formula that I set up for you? So 11% of the first 900, 17% of anything over. So this right here, I already accounted for the $900. I got 11% there. So I get 17% of whatever the difference is, whatever's left. So that's where that number's coming from. All right, example 3. Kate works in a dress factory that makes dresses for designer boutiques. She is paid a piecework rate of $85 per unit or per piece produced. Yesterday, she made 3 dresses. How much did she earn? So, what do we have to do to figure out how much she earned? Yeah, just 85 times 3. She's making 85 bucks for every dress she makes, and she made 3 of them. So she made $255. So she made $255 in one day, and the cosmetics lady made $158 for the month. That one makes more money. So now, how much do you guys make a day when you work? Do you make 80 bucks? 120? And she works 12 hours. So is that a pretty good deal then? Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. But you babysit. Yeah, babysitters will never make the same kind of money. All right, Tony picks strawberries and gets paid at a piecework rate of 45 cents per container. Hey guys. For the first 200 containers picked. He he receives 65 cents per container for every container over 200 that he picks. Last week, Tony picked 270 containers. So could you use that same formula that we used before, but instead of percentages, we have money? Yeah, we could do the same idea. So what's the first percentage or first money? 0.45. What's the first sales or first number of containers? Plus, what's the next percentage or money? 65 cents, so 0.65. And then what's the total? 270 minus the first, 200. And that should equal how much he makes. Now, the numbers on this one are a little easier. Some of you might have been like, yeah, there's 70 containers. Like, you might have just been able to see that. But again, it's that same idea, that formula that we can kind of keep using throughout all of this. So how much money does he make picking strawberries? 135.50. All right, so thinking about Tony here, was this a month, a day, a week? It's 135 bucks a week. Is that good? I guess it depends. Did he work one day? Did he work 7 days? Or it would just depend on that, right? You guys ever pick strawberries? I mean, how long does it take to pick a container? Don't waste a good strawberry. But I mean, one thing I think about when I think about picking strawberries is my back would hurt. I mean, they're on the ground. Or your legs if you're squatting. Yeah, for sure. So that means you would have made 45 cents times 3. Was that good money? No. So what are we hoping for Tony? If this is your job, would you accept this job just getting per container? No. What would you hope that he also gets paid? A wage, yeah, an hourly rate. Hopefully he at least gets paid by the hour, and then this is in addition to, hopefully. There you go, overtime. That's one way to think about it. All right. Number 5, Glassman Chevrolet pays commission to its car salespeople. They are paid a percent of the profit the dealership makes on the car, not on the selling price of the car. If the profit is under $750, the commission rate is 20%. If the profit is at least $750 and less than or equal to $1,000, the commission is 22%. And then if the profit is over $1,000, he gets a 25% of the profit. So you kind of see there's like 3 tiers there, right? So it's like, if it's under $750, I make this. If it's between $750 and $1,000, you make this. And if it's over $1,000, you make this one. Okay, so it's like 3 levels here. So if the profit is $695, what percent would he get? Good, because it says if it is under $750, it's 20%. $695 is under $750, so he would get 20%. Sometimes these type of problems, kids like start to read it and they're like, forget it, I'm done, because like there's a lot of numbers there. But it's just kind of giving you that tiered rating. All right, so then part B, what is the commission on a car sold for a $1,200 profit? So where would he fall percentage? 20, 22, or 25%? Be 25, because it says if it's above 1,000, it's 25%. So 1,200 times 0.25. It is $300. So thinking back to my ABC Warehouse versus Best Buy comparison, if you're car shopping, can you haggle with the salesperson? Yeah, you usually can. Now, we just recently bought a vehicle, and I'll tell you what, things have changed. Since the last time we had bought one, well, a few years ago we bought our vehicle, it's different than it is now. Because now if I want a car, do I have to actually go to a dealership to see what they have? I do everything online. I can see cars anywhere in the country, right? I can find cars anywhere, right? I mean, you can, yes, you can. What's that called? No, what is that? It's going to come to me. I know it'll come to me. I know I looked at that. Carvana. Carvana, that's it. Yeah. That would be kind of fun. All right, but yeah, guys, so when you think about buying a car, things have changed. Because it used to be they could put whatever sales price they want on it. You went to the dealership and you were like, all right, I like that one, and then you try to haggle with them. Now they may come down a couple $100, but that'd be about it. Because they have to have competitive pricing online to even get you to want to come to their dealership, which is different than the way it used to be years ago. No, nobody listens to CDs. MP3s, man, you just plug in your auxiliary cord, hook your phone up, and you're good to go. Your mom actually had a CD in. It's like, what is that circular thing? All right, number 6. Joyce works at Fortunato's Furniture. She's paid on commission. She receives 10% of her first $900 in sales and 15% of the balance of her sales. Last week, she earned $750. What was the total value of the furniture she sold? Now, stop and be careful on this one. Is this just like the ones we did before? No, because if you think of the formula down here, right, let me flip that around. So if you look at the formula, do we know what the first amount of sales is? Do we know that part? 900. Okay, let's go across and put in what we know. So what's the first percentage? 10%, so 0.10. First sales was first 900. Plus, what's the next percentage? So 0.15. Total sales. We don't know. Because this is what she earned. This right here, that's her commission. X. Because that's the part I don't know. The question's asking, what is the total value of the furniture that she sold? So what was her total sales? That's the part we don't know. Minus, do we know the first sales? That was 900. Equals, how much did she make in commission? 750. So this one's a little different. You're going to have to read carefully as you go through your problems. Do they give you the total sales or do they give you the commission amount? Because that's going to make a difference. Okay, so there's where we're at because we did not know total sales, but we had the commission. So what do I do first? Distribute, yeah. So what's 0.10 times 900? That's 90. Plus, this one we're going to have to actually distribute. So we get 0.15x. 0.15 times 900. Is that 135? So minus 135.
I was talking to the other one.
I'm like, are you talking to me? I'm sorry, I'll move in a minute. All right, so all I did was distribute. Then what? Combine like terms. So we have 90 minus 135 is negative 45 plus 0.15x equals 750. Add 45. So 0.15x equals 795. Divide by 0.15. So x equals, how much furniture did she sell? Very good, 5,300. So is that how much money she brought home? No, how much did she bring home? 750. 750 is what she made, but the question was asking how much did she actually sell. She sold $5,300 worth of furniture. If you've ever bought furniture, that's not really that big of a sales, I wouldn't think. A good couch is going to cost you over $1,000. So, does that make sense, though, how we still followed that same formula, just we had different parts of it that time? All right, last one. Lauren is a salesperson at Tireman. She is paid a monthly commission. She receives 6% of her first $1,000 in sales and 11% of the balance of her sales. Today she earned $203. What was the total value of the tires she sold? So let me give you guys a few minutes, let you guys try to set this up and solve this one on your own. All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk through this one. Some of you are doing okay, and I know others are struggling a little bit. All right, so as we read through here, what is the first percentage? Legs sore? The first percentage that we have is 6%. What is that as a decimal? 0.06. A couple people had 0.6. That would be 60%. All right? And then it says our first sales, and it says of her first 1,000 plus, what's the next percentage we have? 0.11. Do we have the total sales? No, I don't have that, so that's my X. Minus first sales, we already said was 1,000. And her commission, it said that she made 203. All right, so there's your initial setup, just kind of plugging into that formula of the different parts and pieces we have. Questions on that part? You okay there? All right, so from there, we just need to solve this. So this goes back to your Algebra 1 skills. So we're going to multiply these two at 60, plus, we'll distribute here, so 0.11x minus 110 equals 203. Now, when we go to collect like terms, this 60 minus 110, do you see how they're on the same side of the equal sign? Don't change and add and do all of that, because it's on the same side, so we're just going to put them together. So 60 minus 110 is negative 50. Yeah, just combining those. A couple people made that 170. Okay. Plus 0.11x equals 203. Now when I go to put the 50 with the 203, it's across the equal sign, so that's when we're going to do the opposite to it. So we'll add it. So 0.11x equals 253. Then divide by 0.11. So x equals $2,300. So she sold $2,300 in tires. And this was, monthly. So she only made $203 for the month. Let's hope that she also... Yeah, today. So it is monthly, but so today she received it for the whole month. Right? I would assume, I don't know anybody who works at a tire place, but I would assume they make an hourly rate as well. I would assume so. You'll have to ask. Does she make an hourly rate? Does she make commission? I wonder if Tireman really does give us. I'm curious. All right, how are we feeling? Does the formula help that you can kind of plug the numbers in? 9%. Yeah, 60% versus 6%. Big difference. Big difference.